Hey guys, it's Kevin, and today I'm going to be reviewing the Fog Asteroid. Now, I'm not sure I'm supposed to have this. I'm probably not supposed to review it, right? But nobody told me that I can't. Nobody told me that I shouldn't. So here we have it. I'm not going to waste any time because I haven't seen this reviewed. I'm just going to move down and tell you the features of the device and what comes in the box. All right, guys. So I haven't actually seen this thing unboxed yet on YouTube or anywhere else, so I figure who better to mess it all up than me, right? So I'm going to end up making some really weird analogies and essentially showing just how unprofessional I am in the process. So what do I have here? I've got this Fog Asteroid, and it's kind of like a supersized Caliburn. So if I were to take this Vaporesso Cross and it were going to have a baby with the Caliburn, the original Caliburn, right? You might find something like this Asteroid, except for the fact that when you look really, really close, you realize that maybe Cross has been fooling around with Caliburn's younger brother, right? So pretty much an identical pod design to the Caliburn G, right? With its removable coil and all that. I mean, it just looks like a supersized Caliburn G pod, right? Doesn't obviously fit or work. It's not cross compatible or anything like that, but just kind of wanted to make a little note of that. In many ways, it is sort of the best of both worlds when it comes to it has some of the best features of the original Caliburn and some of the best features of the Caliburn G, but overall it has all of the downfalls of both of them as well. So I'll discuss that in a minute, right? So the Fog Asteroid Kit, right? I love Fog. Liz stole the Fog Gallop and she used it for months, okay? It helped her quit smoking. So I had really, really high hopes for this device. And, you know, for the most part, it delivered what I thought it was going to deliver, and that's going to be an absolutely delicious vape. So just to give you a little bit of a rundown of it, I'm going to unbox it and I'm going to tell you what it comes with. It comes with the device, and then it comes with a pod pre-installed, and pre-installed into that pod is going to be a 0.8 ohm mesh mouth to lung coil, right? And the device fires at 15 watts, so that's sort of a perfect device or perfect range for that 0.8 ohm mesh, right? And then inside this little box, you're gonna see that it also comes with a USB Type-C charging cable, and then an additional coil. So it doesn't come with a second pod, which I think is a bummer, but unfortunately that's becoming kind of standard with all of these pod devices, right? Now, as you can see, this coil itself sort of looks like a Caliburn coil. And here are the two different coils, right? Again, it just looks kind of like an oversized Caliburn G coil, right? Except for the fact that it doesn't have that sort of conical pinch in, right? But I think that because they chose not to include that, it creates some problems, and I'll discuss that when I get to the portion where I vape on it, right? But as you can see, very, very Caliburn G-like. The device itself has a 900 milliamp hour battery. It's Type-C charging, 2 milliliter capacity, which I think that that's sort of a missed opportunity, but when you actually look at the device, and you can feel how hard it is to actually snap that out without having it in here. It's very thick and bulky for a pod, right? So it's larger than the Caliburn pod, right? Okay, but it's also much thicker, and you can kind of tell when you look through there at the juice ports, right? Very big and bulky. So that's why it doesn't have any more capacity than the Caliburn G does. It's because the walls of the pod are much thicker, right? So aside from that, there's really not all that much to tell you about the device. It doesn't have any additional power options, so you can't press it 3 times and get a different voltage or a different wattage or anything like that. It's not adjustable. It does have the 2-channel airflow, and it works exactly like the Caliburn G does, right? So you take that little airflow channel, right? You line that up with the airflow hole, which is only on one side of the device, right? And then you're going to get a restricted direct lung hit. And then when you flip it around and you line that up with the side without a hole, you're going to get what they call a mouth to lung hit. You can press the button to fire, and you can also auto draw the device as well. The Type-C charging is down there on the bottom, so that could be a little bit of a hit, especially considering this is bigger and bulkier. It probably would have held up if you'd placed the Type-C charging somewhere here on the side, right? But overall, guys, I think looking at the actual design of this, kind of prefer it to all of these other options. You know, the Cross is very boxy, right? Breaks that up and kind of follows the original Caliburn in regards to its design aesthetic, okay? But then you also see elements of the Caliburn G in it, obviously, right? I mean, that side profile is almost identical. All right, so with that said, guys, that's the Fog Asteroid. It's really simple to go over, but hopefully you enjoyed it. I love that gradient that goes down there, and I do kind of like the design that they have there on the fire button. So, really simple device. And now it's time to vape it and compare it. So here we go. Got this in mouth to lung mode right now. Let's give it a vape. Very quiet vape. Unfortunately, there's juice in my mouth. And that's probably the big drawback here from the Fog Asteroid. I have not been able to keep juice out of my mouth since I've been trying it. Now, got it in the restricted direct lung mode. It's louder, and the juice is hitting my tongue, right? It's a hot vape. It is a little bit better if you use the fire button. Smoother vape. Before anybody tells me that it's my juice or anything like that, using standard 70-30 grape juice roll-ups. Unfortunately, this is a device that I really wanted to win. I can say that the flavor on this is outstanding. It's outstanding. It is absolutely stellar. Stellar with the asteroid, right? And you can kind of tell, even before you put this in the pod itself, right? You can taste it through it before it even fires, right? You smell it, there's an aroma. But that's ultimately the problem with it. It's just not designed well enough to stop leaking. Well, it's not leaking. I shouldn't say that it's leaking, because there's not condensation, there's not any leaking coming out of the air holes or anything like that. It's all firing and coming out of the mouthpiece. It's unfortunately not capturing anything. So comparing it to the original Caliburn, right? That's one of the problems that this original Caliburn had, right? It's one of the problems that the Vaporesso Cross has, or X-Rose, right? Hasn't been a problem that the Caliburn G has had for me, but other people would disagree with me and say that it's a problem with the Caliburn G. Of all of these options, the Asteroid tastes the best. And it's not even a close race. This Asteroid here in RDL mode, the juice tastes like the juice. Unfortunately, the spitback and the juice that ends up in my mouth is enough that I won't continue to vape this, right? Have had a little bit of problems with the K1, as I noted in my last video on it, my little update, with getting some juice in my mouth with that. Have not had so much lately, but with this, it's a minuscule amount. With this, it burns my tongue a little bit, right? Like when I'm vaping it, it decides it wants to gurgle and all of that. And that pretty much happens anytime I fill it up, anytime I leave it sitting down. Juice escapes into the coil, right? And that's just a big no-no. So the Fog Asteroid, unfortunately, is going to not get my recommendation for you to go out and purchase, unless they were to change the pod design or change the coil design before it comes out to retail, which they may be doing already. I'm not sure. Yeah, there's nothing on here that says it's a sample, but as I said, this hasn't even been sent out to reviewers. It's just been sent out to some wholesalers like Elego Mall. But this is one where I'm not gonna tell you to go out, run out and go pre-order it or anything like that. Maybe give it a little bit of time, right? And we'll see if there's any changes to the device. And I will reach out to eFog and HorizonTech, and I will see if they have anything to kind of tell me about the device too. And if I hear back from them, I will let you know. All right, guys, with that said, have a good one. Please like and subscribe. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave them down in the comment section or find me on Instagram. Thanks.